James Place.
Here.
Mark Porter. Here. William Coombs.
Here.
Elisa Rudolph.
I see my nameplate's in the middle here, but I think somebody should make a motion to appoint acting chair for this meeting.
So moved with James Blaze as temporary chair of the planning commission.
Second. Roll call.
James Place.
Yes.
Mark Porter.
Yes.
William Coombs.
Yes.
Elisa Rudolph. Yes.
Okay, we are here for a special meeting, and agenda item number 1 is case number 21-10-B, Pony Boys LLC, applicant for the property owned by Morning Stars Holdings LLC, requesting 2 modifications to the conditional use permit approved at our December 9th, 2021 meeting, also seeking approval for a proposed outdoor patio and an increase to the seating limit for 506 East Washington Street. Developmental review will also take place, so if you could state your name and you're here presenting for that.
Come over here. We can do that here. And then have.
Yeah, that's, I think that's the reason Michelle with an acoustic guitar.
Is it on? Yeah, it should be, is there a green light on the handle? No.
It's a karaoke.
I don't see much. Just press the bottom button. It keeps going up. Then it should go up. I think it times out.
You're good.
I'm Kristen Scanlon, Ryan Scanlon's wife. He is the owner of Pony Boys. We are hoping to get some kind of patio seating approved. I have a drawing, I didn't get it.
I think we have.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
think
Oh, you did it.
Yep. That's good.
I didn't get it. But-
We did, was received May 31st in the building department, which is a proposed floor plan
Yes.
for the patio.
So I think, I know Ryan met both with Dave and the fire inspector. Our original plan was not acceptable to I don't really think to either, which is okay. The fire inspector actually said he preferred the planters because they were movable and not permanent. And then we didn't have to deal with the gate and all the ADA compliance.
So these aren't cement blocks, they're just planters.
No, there's gonna be wooden planters, yeah, hopefully, we have somebody coming out to see how that's all gonna fit in, but anyways, he did, where you see along, I mean, I'm not an architect, I just kind of did this on, a program online, but where those red X's are, which actually, I think symbolize a victim on this, according to the, but that's not what it is in this case. But the fire inspector wanted 3 feet of pathway that nothing obstructed. That has to go all the way from, you'll see that back door, the pocket door, or not pocket door, but kind of hidden in the back there. He wants nothing for 3 feet along the fence line, and then he also does not want any seating at the edge of the bar. Where originally we had 6 proposed seats out, and he said 4 was all he'd allow, which is fine. And I actually think he suggested 18 for the occupancy.
Yes.
So, I don't know how many I show here, but we can remove
20.
Yeah, so, we'll probably end up removing bar stools, honestly, because it might feel a bit cramped there. I don't know, I guess we'll have to see
What
how.
are the dimensions of this?
It's 23 by 21. So, I mean, it's obviously multiple phase project. I mean, this little block here, this block right here, that is the white fenced in area. It's fencing in a walk-in freezer that we closed off. So our hope is in next summer, spring, or maybe even in the fall, to remove that walk-in cooler or freezer. It's going to need block work because it's cut out from the wall. And then that eliminates probably right to at least the second X down here. So this will be gone, and that will free up that egress that the fire inspector was nervous about. But anyways, for now, he was okay with the 3-foot pathway.
So that's a 3-foot pathway, so that would make it more 20 by 20.
Yeah, if you exclude the,
It, like,
that's correct.
Yeah. And then how far out is the bar? It's not 3 feet, is it?
No, it's not 3 feet, it's, maybe a foot.
So the axis that they're representing 3 feet is just.
No, it was just, I didn't know how to put, he wanted,
Yeah.
he wants it somehow marked.
That's what I was gonna say, what I'm more concerned, or how are you gonna stop patrons from just standing hanging out there?
Yeah, so we actually, he wants something marked on the ground as well as on the bar top. What that is or what that looks like, I don't know yet, we have to work through it, but he definitely is requiring it to be marked and visible, for patrons, guests, everyone to see, so. And that's fine, because then that just gives us when somebody stands there, we can see you can't stand there. It's not, so we're okay with it.
Well, and he did suggest maybe making like an order station there, so,
Yeah,
I mean, I think he was okay with people, walking up to it
yeah,
and just not seating where it would be an obstruction if somebody was trying to leave during the fire.
correct.
So,
I was envisioning something like where, they put those rails up when you're in a bar where it's like you can't, that's where
Yeah.
the waits staff goes to put their order and the patrons aren't supposed to be there for that for.
That's actually, yeah, that's
It's-
a good suggestion he had was the order stations. We need to add another one. It's just, I don't know if we have all the electricity run for what that entails or not, but anyway, so I think, that's really it. Parking. I think Ryan or Steve maybe mentioned I know Ryan and Steve talked earlier today about the parking. Peter Carey did call us back today and said that his owner of his building, which is the Village Martini Bar, that whole section, is coming into town tomorrow, and him, Ed, and Peter will all be sitting down to discuss the parking. We're getting caught up in some issues with Chalk It Up. I guess there was an issue with the gym and the parking over there. So he needs, both Ed and Peter said they have to address that issue before they can help us. We've had no problem so far, and I know Peter's goal is to give us that whole space over by Team Rabbit for 5 o'clock and after, which, I mean, I don't know how many spots that is, but it's more than 11, I think. So if we can then that actually makes more sense for our LA to be there, and nothing's open in that building at that time of day. So that's, fingers crossed, what our dream plan is, but we should know more on that tomorrow. So what Ryan wanted me to suggest was pulling seats from either inside or outside until parking is rectified, or what options we have for that, if any.
I mean, we could make it contingent upon you obtaining parking if we were inclined to prove it. We've done that before with places. So if you had 18 seats out there, then you'd need 9 parking spaces somewhere else. Could you put the overhead, I just want to see, I mean, I'm sure Team Rabbit area, you could just scroll down, out that way, yes.
What's it doing?
It's that little coffee shop.
So, yeah, those closer. Or do you want me to?
No, I just. Is it listed on?
Right below jog, where it says jog and jog division.
Yeah.
That part.
Oh, over there. Okay. Isn't the,
Hearing center.
No,
So
that's
bad for it.
River Industrial Park, but that's one block down.
oh.
But that's where my,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all those spots.
Seats.
Those, and then the ones along I think there's 5.
No, that's not gonna interfere with the martini.
Martini Bar Park's on the other side, this whole front lot is theirs.
Are there signs marking who that parking?
It just says anybody but Burton Tavern, I believe. Yeah,
So your current offsite parking it's further down, it's
Further
the
back.
office you work in, right? It's
correct.
down,
We have if you
Keep
keep
going up.
scrolling down, it's, right where that white car is with the sunroof. We have, I believe, 6 spots in there, and then we have 6 spots below that. They're not marked the other direction.
This is your issue, chalk it up.
I guess, yeah, I don't
What
know.
is chocolate?
It's a kids gymnastics studio.
Remember the woman who said it wouldn't be that much parking? Apparently, it's a lot of parking.
It's a
Are
lot.
they there in the evening?
They're there from 2 o'clock on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Bill,
I think
have you
it's-
heard anything about it, or I was told that it's like a lot of cars.
And I think it's
Yes.
a, people want
She's
that
good.
before.
Yes, and she's done it very well.
Yeah, I mean, which is good, you know, but
Last time I
that's.
was, she had 34 kids.
But it's scary because it's dark over there and like at nighttime and there's some little kids that are walking through that parking lot. I wish there was like,
And this sometimes it's people at a high rate of speed. Yeah.
Well, and
They go-
what's the current capacity for the inside? 48?
after 5, I believe it's,
Together.
Right. The reason I'm asking is we know, could we do something like what we did for Augie's where if they don't have the spots, whatever is outside, they don't do inside, so do 30 inside and 18 out until you get the parking
yeah, absolutely.
set up.
So
One
limit
day
it
next
to-
night, people are gonna wanna be outside.
Correct, yeah, and I mean, during the week, we haven't been, you know, we're not filling, we wouldn't fill both anyway, so it's not an issue, unfortunately.
So it's 48 diners, and there's some staff there too. I thought the total was 60.
I think the total with staff is 60, yeah.
The total building occupancy limit is 60. We had limited it to 32 seats before 5 PM and 48 seats after 5 PM. But we require it only after 5 PM.
It sounds like you'll have the parking resolved soon. so.
I mean, both Ed and Peter want to figure something out, they just said that for once, we're not the problem.
I don't know,
Which is good.
I don't know if you guys have a problem at all, yeah.
Oh, no, I just bug Ed all the time, because he comes into he's the landlord for my business, for my work, so he comes in all the time.
Leanna hasn't said anything since the first time.
Yeah, no, we've been great neighbors, I think they've been staff trades for you.
So we're looking at 18 seats, 9 parking. And changing. Solicitor. We're not going in and then throw it over. Just quickly change. Done.
No, I don't think so. If you're asking for a modification, you can certainly modify the conditions on your discretion.
So are there gonna be 2 seats at the bar? Is it?
I'm
and
thinking
4
that,
tables?
I think we're gonna do 2 seats at the bar and 4 tables. Yeah, maybe 3 seats at the bar, maybe one of the tables would be a 2 top, I'm not sure, I just talked to Ryan, how he wants to, but we'll definitely change it, and I can send over a revised.
With 18, right?
Yes, with 18.
Yeah. And so if you change one of the tables to a two-seater and then 4 at the bar, because
Yeah,
I would think you're gonna have a bigger demand for people wanting to sit at the bar sometimes.
Yeah.
And-
send the tables, yeah.
Because you might find that a couple ends up wanting to sit out there and they're at a table for 4.
Right, it
Now, you're missing a lot of seats.
See, yeah.
That's just my.
Are these bars manned?
What was that?
The bars, the actual bars, do they have bartenders assigned or?
So it actually opens to the, inside bar, so it's all
garage
run.
door.
It's really cool, it's like a little garage door there.
There's a garage door like right here.
There?
So from the inside, you can service the outside bar. The bartender can be here, the inside and outside. That's like kind of. But so this bar on your like sketch that you made, which, by the way, I think you did a very good job of using
It's nice.
Is the bar the width of that garage door? I mean, because it's not super wide.
No,
I mean, that's
it's
maybe.
probably not. I was just spacing out, 6 stools visually and then taking 2 away, so I think, it's definitely not that wide. I probably have the dimensions of the
I
counter.
feel like that garage door was like 8 or 10 feet wide at best. So I guess.
It was only 8, you're right, because we
8.
wanted 12 originally, but that was gonna take like 2 years to get the garage door in or something, we had an 8.
So it's an 8-foot garage, so it's what I guess what I'm asking is that outside bar, does that extend out past the frame?
A little bit, just a little bit, it's maybe like this much.
Okay, so the bar top's essentially 8 feet.
Correct, yeah.
And then how much
So-
space does that Red X have to be?
He wants nothing there he just said take out 2 seats. So I think what did they figure, 1.5 feet or?
if it's an 8-foot bar top, you really need 24 inches per seat anyway, so you really only gonna get 4 seats in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so- and that's not taking the chair away, right?
Exactly, so,
They may only be able, that might be your two top there.
yeah, I don't know that you're
You
gonna,
put one on the corner.
yeah, I guess, yeah, you get one.
Yeah,
You know, make it
yeah.
look like your two
Well,
top.
I actually, yeah, the funny thing now that you mentioned, I actually don't think there's a corner there. So, yeah, you're right, it's not the width of a chair, there's
Oh,
no corner there, so my drawing is misrepresented it. But yeah, I can definitely reconfigure this to show that the 18 seats, I'm not sure, Ryan has some calculation of how much 4 tops versus 2 tops versus bar stools, there's some kind of method to it, so I'll ask him how he wants to reconfigure it and make it.
To Jim's point, it may not, look, if you space the chairs, if you only put 2 chairs there and then have like the little bars or whatever, so it's like a serving station. I don't think it's gonna be a problem with people wanting to sit there, because it doesn't sound like full comedy.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, and the draw was really just to get light in the building, because it was an all block building, so that gave us the most light with the only opening one space versus putting in windows and multiple spots, so.
Have you been opening the door much through the warmer?
Oh, yeah, it's open all the time, yeah, it's, yeah, it definitely makes a big difference when it's open, there's a nice breeze, so.
So, let's look at the original. Well, I guess, are people inclined, I mean, we'll talk to the patio, but are people inclined to approve the concept of the patio? We can straighten out parking and other stuff.
Yes.
Assuming the parking can be solved, yeah.
Okay,
I was good, until parking's solved, I would just say keep the capacity at 48 total.
In between both spots.
Yeah.
yeah, so let's do this in 2 parts. Let's start with the amending the original conditions, because I know there's one everybody wants us to remove. Got around to, so, okay, so our prior conditions, did everybody have those?
This one is screen, so.
Oh, there you go. Ruth, your organization is just continues to just be amazing. Okay, so this, number 1, you have the requirement for the 12 off-site parking spaces. So I guess if we're going to add the patio, we're gonna have to talk about either keep your, you're gonna have to keep your total occupancy or total seating limit at 48 unless you can obtain 9 more spaces.
Yes.
Whereas if you have, so if it's 12 off-site parking spaces, you're at the 48 seats. If you go to 21 off-site, then you can have 48 plus the 18 patio. Does it sound right, everybody?
64 total.
That would be the seating at peak time. Now, the other thing I was kind of curious about, because, and I've been trying to pay attention to what's been going on down there, so it seems to me that even though you're busier when you have the valet, it's more efficient when you have the valet. So, would you have any appetite to, and I'm just throwing this out there for the group, I'd be okay if they had, if we let them have the 48 seats at noon, so long as they have the valet. So, I think before it was kind of like, well, we're never gonna be that busy, but
Yeah, I mean, if we could,
that's the trade-off.
yeah, I mean, we're open to it, just whether or not we can find a staff person to do it, because like right now, 2 of our valets are high school kids. So, I mean, it's summer now, so we definitely could do it, but, in the school year, it just depends on who's working for us at that time.
Okay.
Because if no company wanted to take our account, they said that they weren't, the only way that they would take our account is if they could put the stand on Industrial Parkway, which we didn't, then the guest has to walk from Industrial Parkway, what's the point of valet?
Right.
So they just said it's too chaotic through there, so.
And you haven't had any problem with kids driving?
No, actually, I don't think, we had one issue with one, valet with, Jacob, the Mountain Road guy, cycle guy, and we let him go, because he was in the wrong.
Okay.
But that's the only issue, I think. Yeah.
So with number 2, do we want to leave that as it is, or do we want to give them flexibility that as long as they have a valet?
Yeah,
You can open it up to 50 seats if you have the 18 on the patio.
do you have?
And then it goes up to 64.
Not at this time.
Yeah, after 5.
If the demand isn't there, I don't, because then we'd be putting time limits.
Yeah, okay, so leave that as it is. Well, maybe we should, the seating limit, number 2 should be for indoor. We should specify that it's for indoor dining.
Are you referring to the 32 or the 48?
Both
But what about
the patio,
with the patio, like, let's say they can't get the parking squared away until June 15th. Weather's nice, we're gonna wanna get that patio open sooner than later. So that's how, do you wanna be that specific with the wording until they get the parking squared away? So that if they cap it at 48 total, then they can have 30 inside and 18 outside.
I guess I was gonna give them flexibility there. I was thinking, I guess we're tying in I guess in number 1, we wanna tie in so if they have 12 off-site parking spaces, then they're limited to a total seating of 48. And with 21 off-site parking spaces, they're limited to a maximum of 48 inside, 18 on the patio. Does that sound right?
Total 64.
Yeah. You think this is too much down there? I mean, what is your sense? Bill, have you heard anything?
No, it has not been an issue. And I had a lot of dealings with David Cameron from Vermont before you got in.
Oh,
Nothing since. So, no, I haven't heard any problem at all. I think people just accept it. It's
yeah,
a tough situation down there. There's plenty of parking
yeah, we just have
in
to,
the area.
Yeah.
It's just getting controlled.
Every time I drive by your lot's full.
well, yeah, we try, we have sometimes the staff parks there just because we want people to use the valet, because if the spots are open, then people come in and take it, and then it kind of screws up the mojo of the parking lot, I guess. So,
But it's not deterring patrons.
I don't think so, I think,
That would be my only concern, is feel like we're full.
yeah, no, I think we've been busy, it's just at certain times, but at the same time, we knew we can't have this every day. You know, like, it's not like it's like Burntwood or, where you can get a burger, fries, or you can get ribs, or you can get, all the different options. I mean, it is Mexican, so people aren't eating it, 5 days a week. So I don't think, I think that we never anticipated having that draw like Burntwood did, so.
Okay, so we would be eliminating number 4.
Number 4, yes.
For your parking situation, people are still backing out on the Washington Street.
I don't think so. I hope not.
I think that's why we did were you here when we did this original one? Oh, okay, so originally there were like,
It's actually on this page.
oh yeah, here.
The part on the left, that was the old.
So originally they had kind of spaces on both sides,
Yeah.
and we were worried about that, so we had to redo it where there was like, made a wire aisle, so that we wouldn't have that problem.
It's like a diagonal mark space that they pull into, back out, so they can pull straight on Washington.
So we want to eliminate 4, number 4. Number 2, we're going to say the indoor seating limit.
Yeah, we'll add for indoor dining, yeah, number 2.
Okay.
keep number 3, eliminate number 4, keep number 5. Well, do we want to review this after? Yes, do we want to review the patio issue? I mean, I hate having to, I don't want to sort of Damocles hanging over your, the whole time here, but maybe we want to in the fall, circle back and just do a review in case it's been told. I mean, it's a small patio. I'm not thinking this is going to be very disruptive.
Yeah.
It's not like a Barbara patio, which is a restaurant in and of itself. So maybe what we'll do is it will be reviewed by planning commission on or before October 30th. So, we want to review it again? Regarding the patio?
Yeah, as far, do you have any umbrellas or covering or anything?
I mean, down the road, we plan to come back at some point to put awnings up, and that required plans, and didn't want to get into all that right now, so.
I didn't think of this until you said there, because Berkwood is all covered, so even if it rained, my concern is, I hope this never happens,
But if we're full.
if you're at full capacity inside and outside and it starts raining, people just run inside.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's hope that, you're on.
I'm sure you're gonna, I'm guessing you're gonna have 4 tables with umbrellas on.
Yeah, I know the tables that we have a hole for an umbrella, we weren't sure how it was gonna work with this, because it's not a big area, so we didn't know if maybe putting umbrellas on the ground that shaded 2 tables, like in the center or something based on. So I think I'm a visual person, but I can't visualize, I have to see how when it's done, how much space it is. So, when we obviously dissolved our partnership with Chris, we lost that design part of it, so I have to actually see it, I can't just see it.
So line number 6 will say conditional use permit will be reviewed by the planning commission on or before, say October 30th.
Sorry, months.
Yeah, and regarding the patio though, I don't want them to feel like, I just think
Not the whole thing.
not the whole thing, just the patio. Delete 7.
7, I thought we were going to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's okay, we would.
Okay, 7 is gone.
I'll try to do a final one. 8, we're gonna keep, right?
Yes.
And then 9, we're going to keep. Also,
And 5, yeah.
keep it at
That's gone. We will.
Okay. And then,
The only thing I'm thinking maybe on Saturdays, maybe we would get a valet earlier in the day. Would that make sense? Could that kick down?
You can certainly get something earlier than what we require.
Yeah, that's what I was
We'll
saying.
start at noon.
I'm
to
just,
tinker with that, we could say, on
Occupancy is contingent on valet availability.
but the only day I would think that maybe we would want to do that is Saturday for brunch if people were coming in when the weather gets nice.
so on Saturday,
You do a Saturday brunch or something.
We were closed Sunday,
Oh,
so,
because Berkwood
yeah,
has theirs.
yeah, and we haven't rolled out brunch yet, so, but that's something we want to do for sure, yeah. I know, my daughter's favorite, I think she likes saying it more than she likes eating it.
Ranch eggs.
Yes.
so on Saturdays, the restaurant may opt for valet service to begin at noon, 11 noon.
11, probably maybe, but yeah,
Well, we'll just put,
11 is maybe,
okay.
so.
May opt to have valet service begin earlier.
Yeah.
I could just put that.
Yeah,
Earlier than 5 p.m.
Earlier
Give some flexibility.
5 p.m. Which will allow for anything else? Oh, and then we're going to. I don't know if we have to list this as a point, yeah, we might as well. We'll list one and say, approve the patio layout in the submission dated 5/31/22, set a maximum of 18 seats on the patio.
I can decide that, do you want me to send it guys from over to?
I'm okay just saying that, relying on that, if I'm good. And then, so that'll be not number 10, we're rotating something. It's 10. And then the final one would be patio must meet all requirements set forth by, what do we call them now, the fire marshal, it says on his email.
Expired.
That's, I thought it was. It's worked by the fire prevention officer's email of 5/26/22. Is that okay, right? You want me to go over them again? Yep. Okay. You guys interrupt me when I make a mistake, which I probably will. Okay, so I move that, well, let's do first. I make a motion that we modify the conditional use permit approved by the planning commission at its meeting on 12/9/21 as follows. Condition number 1. We will add that they, the applicant may, or if the applicant acquires an additional 9 off-site parking spaces, then they will be permitted to have the total seating at 48, maximum total seating at 48 indoor and 18 on the patio, for a total of 64 seats.
48, 18.
Yes, Mark told me the math. 66.
48
18.
Right.
60, you're right.
We'll go with that.
Both the lawyers got it wrong. Okay, so for a total of 66 seats. However, if you, and then I would say if the applicant does not obtain the additional 9 off-site parking spaces, then they are limited to a total maximum seating of 48, inclusive of the patio. Does that sound right? Okay. And then number 2 will remain the same, except we'll add at the end, after 5 p.m. will be 48 seats for indoor dining, period. So we'll add that to number 2.
Indoor dining is on item 2.
Yeah, we're adding 4 indoor dining at the end of that. Number 3 will remain the same. Condition number 4 will be eliminated. Condition number 5 will remain the same. Condition number 6 will be revised and read, the conditional use permit will be reviewed by the planning commission on or before October 30, 2022 regarding the patio. will eliminate condition number 7. We will keep condition number 8 the same. Condition number 9, we will revise and add, so I'll read the whole thing. The restaurant must have valet service after 5 p.m. during business hours and with a minimum of 2 valets. On Saturdays, the restaurant may opt for valet service to begin earlier than 5 p.m., which will allow for the after 5 p.m. seating limit set forth in condition number 2. Then, what will be number 10, I guess, or we're eliminating some, so Ruth will renumber these, right? Maybe not. So it'll be 8, but we'll call it 10 for now. The planning commission approves the patio layout in the submission dated 5/31/22, except there will be a maximum of 18 seats on the patio. So I think there are a few extra in the submission. And then the final condition is the patio must meet all requirements set forth by the fire prevention officer's email of 5/26/22.
Second.
Roll call. James Spice.
Yes.
Mark Porter.
Yes.
William Coontz.
Yes.
Elisa Buda.
Yes.
Brian, you know, we kind of did it in the conditions, but should we make a separate motion, like under developmental review, to approve the outdoor patio,
Yes.
subject to the conditions set forth in the conditional use?
That would be nice.
That's my motion.
I'll second that.
James Spice.
Yes.
Mark Porter.
Yes.
William Coontz.
Yes.
Elisa Buda.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Everyone can come.
Tell Ryan you're lucky you had to work.
I know, I thought I was gonna be late between the pizza delivery. How can I be late when I was 1 minute away? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No. Oh, you didn't do revise thing. I don't need to do anything. Thank you.
Thanks. Speaking of pizza, by the way, we had a neighborhood thing at Augie's. You guys been in there? You did it.
It may finish.
You have to go in and see it.
Any idea what they're gonna do now? It's like,
I don't know, I think he's a little overwhelmed at the demand.
oh yeah, good for him.
Yeah, very good for him.
That's awesome.
The best restaurants in town. The food's fantastic.
It really does, pizza. I just can't believe.
Yeah, but for the pizza, he has a steak on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just ribs,
Oh my.
push.
Yeah, you know, when I was able to eat it, I loved it.
Okay, so agenda item number 2. And this is for consider initiation of amendment to Schedule 1 of the zoning code, amending the fees for zoning. So the last time we had, council had initiated a change to eliminate deposits so that we weren't holding money and creating a nightmare with bookkeeping and hassle, and people won't get their deposits. It's a struggle for many years. So we did approve that, and I think at that meeting, we also suggested that, because it's easier and more proper, frankly, if the planning commission initiates some of these, that we would kind of solicit, some ideas from the building committee or suggestions that the building committee could forward us, and we would consider looking at, the different fees, amounts, and initiate that component of it here, so that it could just go to council to have their hearing, and actually, maybe they would both end up passing together.
They might, I mean, the hearing, the public hearing for the other amendments, which is changing deposits to the fees, is July 11th. So yes, if you guys were to initiate, so it could be, yeah.
So we're talking a simple motion here.
Yeah, and if you guys want to talk through I don't know if you've seen I believe this is what building committee has decided, right, as far as.
Yeah. On the building committee, or no? Do you go to those meetings? Were you at this when they talked? Okay, so
So
you
you're
have.
talking this for how long?
Yeah, you go to the meetings, right? So you guys can give us insight on what they were thinking.
Yeah, and she also researched locally, see what everybody else has paid. The idea was twofold idea, get our fees up to where we get rid of as many deposits as possible. Just, I think, as I said, it's taken probably a year to get to, and we think we're good in all areas, frankly. And we'd like to get this done. So if we made a motion to pass this, or we don't pass this, but to
But you can.
Recommend it.
Yeah, you can
recommend, move to recommend to the
recommend approval, right?
council meeting.
Or you just kind of say initiate the amendment, move to approve.
So we're-
It's been recommended here.
Yeah, I didn't have, I mean, I don't know if anybody want to talk about these. I thought I know we had no fee for some of these, which I think was a nice service to the residents, but, the reality is that, we're, even at $50 or $25, we're still providing an enormous service, time and,
Inspections, right? Doesn't Dave have to go out and inspect and?
yeah, and they're still on the very low side. For that. I mean, if you want to put up a shed, you only have $25, that's, I would have made it higher, but I'm not gonna,
Well, you don't want to put it up too high and then they just say, oh, I'll just.
Yeah.
Shed and we'll
do it.
We'll tell them.
Yeah, I thought a new use, 75, so the zoning permit for a new industrial or business use. So I'm guessing that's what they pay when they apply. Are they doing a separate development approval application? Like I see the developmental approval deposit on all applications, $250 for the planning commission. So let's say I want to open a new bike shop where Sal's goes out of business, and I want to open a bike shop there. So that's a different use. It's a permitted use. It's a personal service probably. So it's a permitted zoning use. I want to open a bike shop. I have to go to developmental review because it's a different use for that commercial property. So I got to come to the planning commission. So what I'm putting a $250 deposit down.
Right now it's a deposit and they get 150 back.
But then what's the 75? So then I'm also paying for a zoning permit, and that's separate.
That's separate, yes.
So I'd be paying $325,
Yes.
and I would get 150 back.
But won't they get everything but 100 back? Yeah, they'll get 150 back.
Now they do, but the deposit part is taken away, so these are all strictly fees, right?
Well, that's the other thing I was confused about. It says developmental approval, deposit for all applications, $250.
That deposit should be crossed off now that that's gone through.
So that's just gonna be an application.
Yes, that's the total fee. Unless they want to change that, and the appeals from 500, that's 95, I think. Some communities have a tiered fee schedule for board of zoning appeals, if it's residential, it's less commercial. Or if it's, and for developmental approval, if it's a use, or I'm sorry, board of zoning is a use variance or a area variance, different. So they're all over the place, really.
Typical development meant like Kensington, one of those other.
That would be major subdivision,
That's major something.
which has a separate, that's a whole other crazy process.
So Ruth, on appeals to $500, Board of Zoning Appeals, maybe Thursday morning, at the building committee, we should take a look at this and hear it a little bit. If it's somebody's appealing for their shed versus somebody's building a monster house, could be a little different there. That's your.
Yeah, and I did some research around, if you guys wanna see what other people are doing, but it's interesting because I don't know how old these fees are of the other communities, and Chagrin Falls, for instance, they were in the middle of surveying other communities because they were changing their fees too. So Board of Zoning Appeals, do you want to discuss this now?
Yeah, that'd be,
I wasn't sure if you were going to discuss it, so I didn't put anything in.
I guess the one difference that, and I think I made this point last time with Dave, was, in townships, boards like us are getting paid, per meeting. So there's a cost to actually having a meeting, and, I don't know that we really have we don't really have a cost for the meeting.
The conditional use permits does require special notice, contiguous property owners.
That's true, that's my certified,
Get
so,
appeals, all the appeals, so all the zoning, like variances, those all get contiguous property owners with special notice, not just legal notice in the paper and sunshine notice with an actual certified letter. But I mean, those are some of the costs, right?
Yeah, there's some work.
I guess I thought the planning commission fee of $250 was a little hefty, I guess, I mean, for the business, I don't know, well, most of it's commercial, so it probably isn't too high.
Not today.
Seems reasonable, I mean, if you don't run a business, you get costs that are incurred, and
But it's 320, so if you wanna open a new business, it's $325. You're paying for the zoning permit, and you're paying $75, and you're paying for 250 to go to the park. Is it, I mean, if you guys think that's okay, then
if you're gonna put in different business in the same space,
Correct.
right?
yeah. If you're not gonna have a use change, then you just be paying the zoning permit.
Right, and that includes an inspection by Dave and Sean.
Yeah, which is, we're not covering our costs, it's $75. I mean, if anything, the zoning permit's low. Okay. And then. I'm charged for occupancy permits, but. And then, I guess appeals, so. This is the one where I kind of had an issue, so. The pool house, right? You know, the guy wants to build a $250,000 pool house or whatever, and so, no, I was talking about the one over here
Oh, the last time.
in Fox. Run.
Oh.
So, okay, so I don't feel bad hitting that guy up for $500 for but then I remember, I always bring back to like the woman who wanted to put the basketball hoop, you know, within 3 feet of the property line and actually had to come get a variance. So, and you know, now it's like $500.
Yeah.
So and I don't know how you solve that problem, but I just feel like anytime you're gonna go to the BZA, we're gonna charge people $500.
Well, what's the justification for that fee?
So originally, it had to do with the legal notice that they got contiguous property owners. There was oftentimes engineering and legal fees, you know, with expert witnesses, and this was when like the BZA was really taking, you know, testimony, and then they would appeal to the court, that sort of thing. So there was a lot of actual fees involved for that. I don't know that we have that as much, although, you know, we've had an ARB being, you know, appealed to the BZA, and that was a lot, back and forth. A lot of fees were incurred in there.
Is that the BZA house?
Yes.
So
Yeah, so that was very expensive. That might cost the village thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well,
Exactly.
to my
So the
point-
fee was to go to
Yeah.
pay for something. Now, it didn't always get to that, right?
Right.
Whereas it would actually sometimes be less than actually still what the
Right.
village was incurring.
Is there a way to charge a much smaller fee? And then all other, like, if you have a situation where it's charging thousands of dollars, the person causing this should foot that bill.
And that's what's currently in our code, so the deposit was a certain amount, and then if it was, you know, quite frankly diminished, you had to replenish that to get it back up to
Yeah.
a certain amount. That we are eliminating completely,
Well, remember, it's a deposit.
right?
Is this a deposit?
No, not
It is
anymore.
currently, it won't be. I think council has moved, remember, to get rid of the deposits and do just straight out fees.
Yeah, because to your point, I mean, $500 is more than it costs to put a basketball.
Or a shed, I mean, if we wanna
Right.
have a shed, you know, if the shed's too close to the property line, you wanna get a simple variance, then we grant 1,000,000 times, almost every case. You know, it's like a third of the cost of your shed in a fee.
That's,
So I don't know, that
I
was,
like the rule the way it is now.
Well, we can't plan on, you know, the guy who wants to put up a $250,000 pool house, or the lady with the basketball thing, you have to pick something that works in either situation, even though it's a lot less than the guy with the pool house, a lot more than it, so you pick something that works
Right.
generally for everyone.
No, my point was the reasonable amount that works for everyone, and then any additional experts or, I don't know what went on with the Daisy House, but like, the additional cost becomes the cost,
Yeah, so,
not of the village, but of the resident recurring.
yeah, I mean, so in the same, maybe not on the appeal thing, but like the one thing, the minor subdivision, $100, which it's totally.
What is a minor subdivision?
So that would be like across from, well, near you know that little, between Sunridge and Lake Louise. What's it called?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's like a
yeah,
private,
yeah, that's a minor
oh,
sub.
that is, okay,
Yeah, so what, there's like 5
because
houses
they're
there.
small.
Or the one up these.
Well, I think it has to do with the amount of parcels, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
so,
not a private, it's Papa's huge.
Right, but that was,
That's huge.
yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be a lot of that. So, so yeah, like that would be an example, but then like, if somebody was putting in, and we still have some property out east where a minor subdivision,
Yeah.
very
Well,
well.
even that big farm house that's going up on Bell, that's 11 acres. That could become the 10, 11 house thing or something.
Well, you could have put 2 lots in front of his house.
So I guess my issue there is if somebody's truly putting in a minor subdivision, we're probably getting the engineer heavily involved, we're getting legal heavily involved.
I
I mean,
flip those fees, I make that 500.
well, I think the minor subdivision should be 1,000
Yeah. And
at
appeals.
least, right? I mean, maybe 2,000 for a minor subdivision, maybe more, I don't know.
I mean, we
It's
still,
not a lot.
we do minor subdivisions with lot splits and consolidations.
Do we call that a minor
We
subdivision?
do, we have the engineer involved, and
Well, yeah, I mean, even though, well, what do we charge for a lot split? What is that on?
I
Is
think
that
it's,
all other permit, $25?
I think it's the $100, I could be wrong, yeah, I don't think it's an all of it permit.
Plus the planning commission,
Correct.
Oh, then they're paying the
Right.
$250.
So I mean, that's $350 right there. Now, again, they get a certain amount back, because the planning commission has that return refundable.
But that's going away, right?
Correct. That's what we just approved at the last meeting, right?
Okay,
So if we do minor subdivision, take that up from 100 to 1,000. If we do appeals, I'm looking at what's Russell, Bainbridge, Green Falls, Warren Hills. They're basically charging $250 for a board of zoning appeals meeting. That,
Only on area variances. Look at Bainbridge on their use variance, it's $1,000.
But Bainbridge is a township, so that makes me think because the paying people fee, I mean, what's the fee cover?
Yeah, legal notice, expert, there's sometimes engineering.
why are they charging, what's the rationale for charging so much more for a use variance? To me, that's like, you're not getting, you're not,
No, usually you are, right? I think you are, you have a lot more on use variance, I think. Usually it's a harder standard to prove.
well, that's true.
We would probably, I would assume the municipality or the township would want to for sure have an expert there, because they're usually more tested.
I think that's actually a great idea. Why don't we differentiate between an area variance and a use variance? So if it's just the guy who wants to have a shed close to the property line, maybe like Bill said, that's $250. But if it's a use variance, maybe that's $750. You know, because that is, you're right, I mean, that's way different thing.
Right. What about an appeal for zoning inspector error? No, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
Oh, they have a $300 fee?
Well, and the only reason I say that is, again, that those would be the 3 appeals, right? Area variance, use variance, or zoning inspector error. So if you're going to differentiate,
so you
or we
get,
could just say all other appeals, we could say that as well.
so to get before the board of zoning appeals, we're looking at $250.
That's for the area variance, I think.
For area variance, $250.
A use variance, what do you think for that?
500.
Keep it at the 500 we have there, and then
Do you want to just do all other appeals 500
Do that,
then? Okay,
it's a simple strategy.
then that covers zoning inspector error, which have we ever had that in South Russell?
What would
Wasn't
be
it-
down here?
Wasn't Daisy Lane? No, that was area.
Yeah.
I know, I feel like we just.
Not mine. So if the zone, if somebody feels that the zoning inspector wrongly denied a variance, then,
A permit.
or permit, I'm sorry, yeah, a permit, then they could seek they could say zoning inspector error and appeal it to the board of zoning appeals.
okay, so I would worry this now.
So area variance, $250, all other appeals, $500,
I think that's fair.
minor subdivision, $1,000,
Yes.
and then keep the rest the same that was recommended by the building committee.
We'll meet with them Thursday.
Silly
Should
question.
not be.
Yeah, how many houses or how many lots are involved in a minor
I
subdivision?
thought it was less than 5. I'm gonna have to look it up, I'm sorry, I don't have the subdivision regulation, but I
Just
think they're
curious.
online. I thought it was like a 5 or below or
Yeah.
under 5. Because I feel like 5 and more.
Just-
But we don't charge that on lot splits, do we?
See, that's, I
Well,
feel
that was
like,
the same, that.
I feel like we did charge a minor subdivision fee on a lot split with, it's on Bell Road, Nicolak, I wanna say is the last name. We did a lot split and consolidation, I thought.
So what I recall of all that are the engineering fees that we charge them.
Yes, okay,
We got billed by Eric and we charged them for
okay,
the exact amount.
okay, maybe I'm wrong
And the way I look at it is, you put up 5 houses in a minor subdivision. So, yeah, you can afford $1,000,
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
Well, we'll still probably break even. We have,
No, we'll still
we'll still lose money for not as much.
But not as much.
Okay, so the rough, I make a motion that we approve the schedule, we approve and recommend to council the adoption of Schedule 1 required fees and deposits for the rough draft of proposed fee changes contained in this agenda item number 2, except minor subdivision will be $1,000 and appeals will be $250 for area variance appeal, and $500 for all other appeals.
And we take off the word deposits.
And yeah, we
But
limit,
that's in the other amendment. So I don't know
Yeah.
if I have this one.
okay. So so this deposit language on here is gonna be, I don't need to delete it anyway. Okay, so I make that motion.
Second,
James Place?
Yes.
Mark Porter?
yes.
William Coontz?
Yes.
Lisa Kudrow?
Okay. Special meeting, we can't talk about anything else, so.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Do we
We're
want
adjourned.
to do 2 weeks?
No,
Just, we don't meet again until it's July.
We canceled July, but that's an issue. We're gonna have some items we need to meet.
Okay.
County habits, but not now.
Okay.
What are
Our next.
what are we gonna have?
Red Barn.
There's a business going on there?